The Chargers were founded in Los Angeles in 1959 as part of the AFL, the American Football League, but were relocated to San Diego in 1961 because they were not doing well at all. They won the AFL championship in 1963, then the Chargers joined the NFL, the National Football League, as part of the AFL and NFL merger in 1970. During this time, the Chargers had Lance Alworth, one of the greatest wide receivers of all time, but was traded to the Dallas Cowboys in 1971 after spending 9 years in San Diego. Then, in 1973, Johnny Unitas, one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, joined the Chargers. Unfortunately, he only played 3 games due to injuries from aging. From 1970 to 1977, their first 7 years in the NFL, they did not make the playoffs a single time. In 1978, Don Coryell became coach, marking the start of the Air Coryell era, a time when the Chargers revolutionized the offense in the NFL with the help of Dan Fouts, Kellen Winslow, and Charlie Joyner. Dan Fouts led the NFL in passing from 1979 to 1982. He won the AFC Player of the Year in 1979, and in 1982 won NFL Offensive Player of the Year and named NFL MVP by the Pro Football Writers of America. This is arguably the golden age of the San Diego Chargers. The San Diego Chicken had recently hatched in 1974 and supported the Chargers, and the San Diego Chargers theme song was released in 1979, The San Diego Superchargers by Captain QB and the Big Boys.
San Diego Superchargers, San Diego Chargers.
They made the playoffs 4 consecutive years during this, from 1979 and 1982. The most memorable playoff run came in 1981 when they played the Miami Dolphins in Miami in one of the greatest games of all time, in the AFC divisional round. The Chargers led 24-0 in the first quarter, then blew the lead by the fourth quarter when the Dolphins took the lead. The Chargers managed to tie it back up 38-38. The Dolphins had one more chance to win, but the field goal was blocked by Kellen Winslow, who sent the game into overtime. The Chargers finally prevailed, scoring a field goal in overtime to win it. They advanced to the AFC Championship game against the Bengals in Cincinnati and one of the coldest NFL games ever, now known as the Freezer Bowl. The temperature was minus 9 degrees Fahrenheit with a wind chill of minus 59 degrees Fahrenheit. The Chargers lost 7-27, failing to make the Super Bowl. In 1984, Alex Spanos buys the San Diego Chargers, and in 1986, Don Coryell resigned due to problems with the new owner. Charlie Joyner retired that same year, and the following year both Dan Fouts and Kellen Winslow retired. They would not become contenders again until 1992 with the help of Junior Seau, one of the greatest linebackers of all time, new quarterback Stan Humphries, and the new coach Bobby Ross. Bobby Ross was named AFC Coach of the Year, and they made the playoffs for the first time in 10 years. They won the wild card game against the Kansas City Chiefs 17-0, but lost in the divisional round to the Miami Dolphins 31-0. In 1994, they won their division, advancing to the playoffs. They defeated the Miami Dolphins 22-21 in the divisional round, then beat the Pittsburgh Steelers 17-13 for their first ever AFC Championship win. They made the Super Bowl for the first time in Chargers history to face the San Francisco 49ers, who were led by all-time greats like Steve Young, Jerry Rice, Deion Sanders, and many others. Super Bowl 29 took place in Miami with a halftime show featuring Tony Bennett and Indiana Jones. They were absolutely demolished by the 49ers, losing 26-49. They barely made the playoffs the following year, losing to the Indianapolis Colts in the wildcard round 20-35. In 1997, Bobby Ross resigned due to the problems with the team. That same year, Stan Humphries suffered several concussions and decided to retire. The Chargers traded their way up to the second overall pick in the 1998 NFL Draft. Peyton Manning was drafted first overall by the Indianapolis Colts, followed by the Chargers drafting Ryan Leaf at second. This was supposed to be their quarterback of the future, but it turned out to be arguably the worst draft bust in the history of the NFL. The Chargers fumbled in his first career snap, and he only scored 2 touchdowns that whole season and threw 15 interceptions. He lasted 3 agonizing years with San Diego, being released and replaced by Jim Harbaugh. The San Diego Chargers drafted LaDainian Tomlinson 5th overall in the 2001 NFL Draft. Then they drafted Drew Brees in the second round, 32nd overall. In 2003, Junior Seau was traded to the Dolphins, then was later signed by the Patriots, where he took part in their undefeated regular season run, eventually losing to the Super Bowl to none other than Eli Manning. Eli Manning was taken first overall in the 2004 NFL Draft, by the Chargers, but he refused to play for San Diego. The New York Giants had drafted Philip Rivers 4th overall. The Giants and Chargers traded quarterbacks, both getting their quarterbacks of the future. However, Drew Brees remained as the main quarterback for the Chargers and helped San Diego win his first division title in 10 years and their first playoff appearance in 9 years. Unfortunately, they ended up losing to the New York Jets 17-20 in overtime in the wild card round. Kicker Nate Kading, who was one of the top kickers in the league, missed what would have been the game-winning field goal. The Chargers failed to make the playoffs the following year, and Drew Brees signed with the New Orleans Saints after the Chargers refused to increase their contract offer. Drew Brees ended up having one of the most successful careers in the NFL history with the Saints, including winning the Super Bowl in 2002. In 2006, the Philip Rivers era in San Diego began as Rivers finally took over the starting quarterback position. They went on to win the division title for 4 years in a row from 2006 to 2009. They finished with their best record ever, going 14-2, and LaDainian Tomlinson broke the NFL record for the most touchdowns in a season, scoring 31, and winning the NFL MVP award. They were the number 1 seed in the playoffs, but lost to Tom Brady and the New England Patriots in the divisional round 21-24. Again, Nate Kading, still among the best kickers in the league, missed a field goal that would have tied the game and taken it to overtime. In 2007, the Chargers made the playoffs once again, recovering from a 1-3 start to finish off at 11-5. They defeated the Tennessee Titans 17-6 in the wildcard round and beating Peyton Manning and the Indianapolis Colts 28-24 in the divisional round. They made the AFC Championship for the first time since they won it in 1994 to face Tom Brady and the New England Patriots. Philip Rivers played the game despite suffering from a torn ACL, but the Chargers were defeated 12-21. The following year in 2008, they won the division with only an 8-8 record, making the playoffs. They defeated Peyton Manning and the Indianapolis Colts once again, this time in overtime 23-17 in the wildcard round. They went on to face the Pittsburgh Steelers in the divisional round, losing 24-35. 2009 would mark the last year with a division title with a 13-3 record, but losing to the New York Jets once again in the divisional round 14-17. With Nate Kading missing 3 field goals in the game, despite only missing 3 field goals during the entire regular season. The following year in 2010, the Chargers released LaDainian Tomlinson and failed to make the playoffs with the number 1 offense and the number 1 defense in the whole league. They finished with a 9-7 record and considered one of the biggest chokes of all time. They wouldn't make the playoffs until 2013, winning the wild card round against the Cincinnati Bengals 27-10, but losing to the Denver Broncos 17-24 in the divisional round. This would be the last time the San Diego Chargers would be in the playoffs. The following years were years of failure for the team, both on and off the field. During this time, Dean Spanos, son of Alex Spanos, wanted a new stadium for the team because the current stadium was an embarrassment to the organization and the city. It was a concrete building with seats and the smallest scoreboard in the whole league. Spanos kept pushing for a new stadium, preferably in downtown, but there was no funding, and they needed billions and billions of dollars. The city put it up for a vote, but the people of San Diego said no, as it was too expensive. In 2016, the NFL approved the St. Louis Rams to relocate to Los Angeles, and approved the Chargers as well, but they would have to wait until 2017. The Chargers would join the Rams in the new multi-billion-dollar SoFi Stadium. Dean Spanos only cared about the money, not about the city of San Diego. On January 12, 2017, Dean Spanos officially announced the relocation of the Chargers to Los Angeles, ending their 55-year stay in San Diego. Their stadium was taken down, marking the end of the San Diego Chargers. San Diego was devastated by this, as the city has always struggled with sports, and this was just another huge blow from another greedy man. But San Diego will always cherish the great memories from the Chargers, brought to America's finest city.